Remember when Mad Max Maxine Waters had this to say about then President Donald Trump?
As a matter of fact, he absolutely should be charged with premeditated murder because of the lives that were lost with this invasion, with this insurrection.
He wanted to charge the president with insurrection and creating murder on Capitol Hill on January the 6th. So what did she do over the weekend? Well, she thought she would go take a visit of the mostly sometimes sort of peaceful protests in Minneapolis as they get ready for the George Floyd verdict. And this is what she had to say there.
What should protesters do?
Well, we got to stay on the street, and we've got to get more active. We've got to get more confrontational.
What should protesters do?
Well, we got to stay on the street, and we've got to get more active. We've got to get more confrontational.
Is she been deplatformed by any social media? Is she under impeachment? Will she be ousted? I think you already know the answer to that one, boys and girls. I'm going to be very upfront with you. I've not really followed this trial. I know the nation anxiously awaits the verdict, and I have listened to commentary from both sides, and even some of the commentary I have heard from the right is technically, in a legal sense, there's a chance this isn't going to go the way that the media and BLM and the rioters want it to go. Then again, I haven't followed any of it, and I can tell you it's going to exactly go their way because there's no way this jury doesn't do something. If for no other reason, they don't want their city to burn. And I'm going to say this, it's going to burn whether they acquit or convict. It'll be a celebration if he's convicted while they're burning and looting and robbing and pillaging. And it will be a cry for justice if they're looting and rioting and raping and pillaging and, So, either way, no matter which way the jury goes, no matter what verdict is rendered, it's already done. And the jury, I am certain, feels this pressure to somehow save the nation from riotous behavior. And so, again, will justice be served? The narrative will be met. And that's really all the media cares about. You even heard a black citizen address CNN that it's the media's coverage of all this that drives these riots and fans these flames into out-of-control infernos. Is anybody in the streets actually listening to testimony, observing what went on in the courtroom, following the evidence, following the story, following in detail what's actually going on in that courtroom? No, they're too busy in the streets yelling and screaming because they've been worked up. One thing that the liberals do very, very well, they know how to bullet point things, they know how to stick to the script, and they know how to get people to swallow a whole lot of swill with not a lot of fact, but hey, it's okay because they've got the emotion of it. And this was a story that was easy for them to spin, control, manipulate, and dominate the narrative. And so, as we await the verdict, don't most of us really know what's about to happen? And now you add on top of it, we've got the dementia in chief, Joe Biden, he's going to propose legislation to go ahead and expand those courts, like the Supreme Court. And you'll never again have an originalist who actually goes by the Constitution. It will all be on interpretation of feeling. and the social norms of the time and the mores and the morality of the time. You know, there is a reason our founding fathers chose the Bible as a basis upon which to frame everything from the Declaration of Independence to the very Constitution which governs us. No, not all of these men were devout Christians. Not all of these men were true Christ followers. I'll never say that. But I do believe these men understood a couple of things about the Bible. They understood that it was morally clear, that it was emphatic in its clarity on right and wrong. And I think they also understood that this Bible of ours offered not only moral clarity, but it did not change. And they knew that the views of man changes. The whims of man changes. The convictions of men change. And our founding fathers, in their great genius and wisdom, chose the Word of God as a foundation from which to build law and a constitution because they didn't want it to be easily changed. Right and wrong is not based on the morality of the moment. Right and wrong is based on absolute truth. One example: sex. You're either a boy or you're a girl. It's that simple. You either have the body appendages of a boy or the body appendages of a female. You either have an XY chromosome or you don't. It's really not any harder than that. And right now, I realize that the vast majority of the country does not swallow the swill of the transgender propaganda. Give it one more generation, and they will. And we'll watch the media and the entertainment, and we can't have old reruns of Leave It to Beaver on, this traditional male, female, white. We can't have that. Because, see, man changes. And truth is absolute. This is why we change definitions now, and it's why we change even our definition of what is truth. Truth is absolute. It's concrete, it's settled, it's eternally, infinitely right or wrong. That is not what we're interested in anymore. It is about meeting the moment. So what's happening in Minneapolis has nothing to do with quote-unquote justice. It isn't even about George Floyd. It's about people hell-bent on reconstructing, redirecting, reorganizing, and remaking America. Period. And sadly, my gut instinct tells me the jury is going to take a step in that direction.
What should protesters do?
Well, we got to stay on the street, and we've got to get more active. We've got to get more confrontational.
You see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd, and you push back on them, and you tell them they're not welcome.
That's it for this rant. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and a like. Smack the bell, click the word all to get notification of my next rant. And don't forget, you've got to start following me on Rumble. Rumble is where you will find my content when they eventually say, I can't post here anymore because of community violations or whatever trumped up charges they come up with. That's rumble.com/Pastor Marty. One word.